Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Today I'm going to share a project from start to finish that I saw a lot of recently, and I just really like them. So I didn't come up with this. As I say, I've seen it a lot around on the internet, and all I'm going to do to start off is I'm taking a piece of crumb cake cardstock. This is A4 and I'm cutting that in two. I'm going to score that halfway down at 14.8 centimetres, which is the standard for a tall card. That's what we're going to get. Okay, and now I want to cut out some pieces from the bottom here, and I'm going to start with, up at the top here, my card on 1 inch. And I'm going to press quite hard because I'm going through 2 layers, and I'm going to go up onto here to where it says 9 centimetres. I might have to snip as well, but we'll see how we get on. And I'm going to do the same thing the other side. I'm going to line it up at 1 inch, and then I'm going to go up to 9 centimetres. Then I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to score. I'm going to cut rather between those two pieces. I'm just going to do it roughly, and then I can finish that off with some snips. It has actually pretty much gone through on the 2 layers. The trimmer is designed to go through 1 layer of cardstock, but you can at least get it to give you a bit of a line going through too, and it saves me measuring twice, which is always good. There we go. Just wait that piece to come out and trim off any rough edges that I have. Okay, so that's where I'm starting from. Now the background stamp I'm using is this wood grain one. We now have a new wood grain one in the Spring Summer catalogue, so you choose which you think is the nicest, but this is my one that I've had for a little while. I'm using Old Espresso ink. Now this is an old style ink pad. If you have a new style ink pad, you will ink this up with gentle tapping, but with the old style one you can get away with dragging it across, and you need to do that to make sure it's well inked up, whereas the new ones you'll find they ink up a lot easier. So I'm going to now lay this card down onto my wood grain, and the reason I do it this way up is I don't have to then make sure that I have got my stamp in the right place. For the metric cardstock and the old style background stamps, they are really a close fit. So as you'll see, I'm going to lose a little tiny bit. Can you see it right at the bottom there? But I didn't want to lose that at the top. I can get away with it at the bottom. I can put a bit more ink on there, and we can do a little bit of daubing, and you'll never notice. But that's the reason I do my background stamping upside down. So we've got some wood grain now onto there. So yes, I am going to daub it. I'm going to actually use a sponge, rather than a dauber this time, because I want quite a bit of ink on there. And I'm going to daub all around the edges, especially down at the bottom there where we've got that overlap. There we go. So I'm bringing in a piece of black cardstock, and this is 3.5 by 3 inches, and that's going to fit perfectly. There you go, onto my blackboard. If you can hear some hoovering going on in the background, don't worry about that. I've been asking my husband to hoover all day, and I'm not going to stop him now. So we just have a little background hoovering. I'll speak up. We'll be fine. Okay, so now we want to add some chalk onto the blackboard. You can use Whisper White craft ink. You can try Whisper White Cotton White StazOn. But what I'm going to do, which gives you the clearest, crispest image, is Versamark and white embossing powder. Now, it's not everybody's choice because some people like that slightly kind of bits of chalk look. So all I'm going to do to achieve that is I'm not going to use my embossing buddy, and if we get little bits on there, then that'll be fine. So let's bring in my white embossing powder, and I'm going to stamp the thanks so much, and I'm going to put that up at the top, and then we're going to have this flower image underneath just like that. And then white embossing powder. And normally I would go to a lot of bother to take off all these extra little bits, but actually I want those to be on there because I want this to be like a blackboard. So I'm going to leave those as is. And I'm going to bring in my heat tool. So this will compete with the hoovering going on outside. And I'm setting all those little bits that normally I would have removed, firstly with using the embossing buddy first, and secondly with a paintbrush if I had any left. I'm actually leaving those on there. Now, other things that you can do, again, you can use a little bit of ink and take some ink around the edge with a sponge, and again give a little bit more chalk. But I'm quite happy with that as it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. More hoovering right outside the door now. Do you think it's time to end this video? I think it probably is. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed today's slightly noisy visit to Elizabeth's craft room. I look forward to welcoming you soon, and I hope you've learned a little bit about the blackboard technique if you didn't already know. Look forward to seeing you soon.